Hello, we're back. Starting to get a little more evening now, so there's some flies coming out. So if I start swatting a bit, I guess that explains it. But I watched a YouTube video recently from a dating show, excuse me, that's like very popular right now regarding like popping a balloon, right? In regards to dating. And there was this recent episode that I watched with Abba and Preach, big YouTube channel, and it was about a dentist, just the most arrogant, most exhausting person I've ever watched. Do you ever relate when you just see someone so like bad and and you kind of pity them and you're like, well, I'm glad I'm not that person. And I'm glad I don't think like that or behave because this person was the most arrogant person ever. Like they were like tall, successful, and like attractive, and no Diddy, right? as as the kids would say, that was cringe, but you get what I'm saying. Revolving back to the topic I'm talking about, you can kind of look up that video. When I post this, it's one of their most recent videos. So, but the guy was like just so defensive, and he couldn't take constructive criticism or feedback from anyone. And that's why I wanted to make this video. It's like, even though it may be painful and hard to get used to for understanding what purpose of constructive criticism is, like at first you can feel like it's very personal. This person just is saying some mean things about you. Like there's nothing you can learn from it. But in my opinion, at least learning from my dad, it is such a powerful tool and how it can help you in your journey of just like becoming a better individual or learning from your faults. Because if I didn't take constructive criticism or, you know, negative feedback on like who I was and what my identity was as a person, it wouldn't have made me the person today. And I probably would have been in, like lost a lot more friends, just been a more unlikable person. And I wanted to share that with today of like it is good to really hear someone's feedback because more times than not, criticism comes from a place of like this person wants you to notice something and improve on it, or at least be aware of it. Because when I give criticism, it's like that's where I come from. I don't give it out as much anymore because a lot of people can be defensive. So for me, I give out less criticism, but I respond well to criticism because that's more in my control. Someone's going to say something that's out of my control, but how I respond to that and how I think about it is totally in my control. Because think about it like this. What are your options? Either get defensive, totally like disregard the person's thoughts and feelings on you, and just get into full defensive mode, like shut down and just like maybe resort to name calling, God forbid, or just like some really childish crap. And, you lose the plot. You just start being a very unlikable person that not many people are going to want to hang out with, especially if you make mistakes in your life, like, which is 100% going to happen. No one's perfect. And whoever says that, huge red flag. Run away from them because no one is above or below you in this life. We're all on the same playing field. And once you understand that and kind of have that as your mantra, you can connect with people a lot better. At least in my personal experiences, like just I kind of search for connections or quality connections, and like connecting with people I feel like is really important nowadays, especially where it's harder now more than ever, in my opinion, to connect with others, especially with how social media is, politics. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Polarity, I guess, in topics and stuff. People can get very passionate about it and they won't hear out the other side or give them some space to talk. And it just devolves into like pointless arguments. Or like, I hate arguing. Arguing is so pointless to me now. Like, whenever I feel like I'm in the like getting into an argument with someone, I like mentally check out. Not in like if it gets excessive or it's like, okay, this is going nowhere. Like I'm not. It's literally impossible to convince someone of like changing their opinion. In rare cases, it may happen, but sometimes the best thing I've heard, like, oh, the best thing to do before a fight, or if a fight occurs, is run away. Because you don't know what the other person has left to lose. They could have a gun, knife, whatever. Like, is it really worth that risk to get into a fight because they miswronged you or, disrespected you? Yes, it's a bad thing, but think about the pros and cons, especially in an argument. It's like, what's your goal? Are you really going to change the person's way of thinking, or are they just going to be defensive and guard their point of view? Believe me, I have a really close friend of mine who's like this, and it almost feels like talking to a brick wall. I don't think I'll ever see this video, but yeah. I've known him for a really long time. I'm not going to drop his name here. Maybe I'll tell him one day, but I don't even know. Like, some conversations, I've tried to put his own logic against him, and it is just nothing. Like, this dude is full on defense mode. I'm like, I don't know if I can ever have a deep conversation with you, or like a very intellectual conversation, because we can't get through that first level of like, okay, like, I make my wrongs and I acknowledge them. You made something of the same level, and I point that out to you, and instead of doing what I did with it, you went a totally different way and just disregard it and try to double down and protect it. And it's just super exhausting. I'm like, if we take criticism a little bit better, we can have better conversations, better connection, better relationships. I think the word criticism has become a very negative thing. A lot of people don't take constructive criticism well, and it's kind of led to the state of things how where people get really easily offended. God forbid, you point something out about them that they have the power to change, and instead they're like, "Oh, you're being racist, a bigot, mean, crude, unkind." It's like, no, I'm trying to do the kind thing for you and pointing out something objectively that other people wouldn't like, especially it's something that I have been called out on myself and I see in another person. I'm going to do what my friend did when he did to me, and he showed me the error of my ways, and try to share it with you. And it's up to you to accept it or not, but I'm not going to be sorry for saying it. It wasn't like I was out of line or I said it in a rude manner. Like, we need to be more honest with each other. And just a lot of fakeness nowadays, and it's sad to see. It's really sad to see. And I hope we can, have bigger sense of community. At least for me, I feel like I have a good group of friends and stuff, but sometimes day to day it could be a little tough. I'm a little more of a homebody. I'm not the most social person out there, but I think I can thrive in social situations. It's just I don't go looking for them. I feel like people can be quite exhausting, to be honest, especially if you don't have the similar interests or ways of thinking, and someone that can like really rub you the wrong way, or you just feel like it's a lot of superficial bullshit. Like, I'd rather spend my time doing some hobbies or things that I'm interested into, or building my body in the gym, reading some books, doing some hobbies, exercising, just other stuff in general, instead of like going out with someone that I may not know as well and like just have boring conversation. Like, I've had some dates before that just kind of went downhill, but those are more of like, regardless if they're good and bad, they're good experience for dating. But sometimes I go out with like a friend or so, or I meet up with them, I'm like, oh, that was kind of fun, but I'm like, I guess I could have been home. More times than not, I proved myself wrong and it was worth going out. But some people you hang out with just isn't it. And it really makes you think. It's like, well, time's really limited, and there's only so much of it in the day, so you almost have to really value and guard your time wisely, because that is one resource that is finite and you can't get more of it, regardless of what anyone tells you. Maybe you can buy more time and cut down on things that may take you more time with money, or find more quick advantages, but in this life, you'll never know what your time balance is, or when it runs out, or when you're done in this world. So just try to be a better person each day and have a little more virtue, and maybe it can lead to some interesting opportunities in your life, and beautiful connections, and just people you meet. And I don't know, just the idea of that gets me excited, because it's like the possibilities are limitless, and I think that's pretty cool. So take that as you will. Thanks for watching. See you around.